إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. All praise is due to Allah. We praise Him, we beseech Him, we seek refuge in Allah from the evil of our souls. Whomsoever Allah guides, then none can misguide him. Whomsoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala misguides, then none can guide him or her aright. I bear witness and I publicly testify that none has the right to be worshipped in truth but Allah, and that Muhammad ibn Abdullah is his slave and his messenger to proceed. We welcome you back to week number 3, I think it is, of our exposition on atheism. We began our lessons looking at the fitrah, the natural state and inclination which every single human being is endowed with, and we said that the fitrah, this natural state, which orientates the person to, 1, affirm the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and 2, to worship Him can be clouded. We said to uncloud the fitrah, there are a number of things that can do it. Revelation, rational arguments, experiences and reflection and introspection. Now, what's very interesting about this is that we live in a society which is secular, separation of religion and state, and for many people believe in atheism. However, what's interesting is with this, many people believe in ghosts and wizards. Many people believe in ghosts. If you ask anybody, even an atheist, do you believe in ghosts? They will all say yes. People who say, I don't believe in God, they say, yeah, I believe in ghosts. Or if you're sitting at home or sitting with them in a quiet place and they hear a bump and they can't see it, straight away they believe in ghosts. So it shows you naturally we believe in something which is supernatural, beyond our experiences. But we cloud ourselves. We then went on, my respected brothers and sisters and elders, to say that the fruits of atheism, if we want to call it fruits, are that there's no justice, there's no ultimate justice. So, for example, I saw on Facebook a 90-year-old woman, every bone in her face was broken by 2 young men. And we believe that's a heinous crime, an evil crime to do that to an elderly person who has given their life and their time dedicated to her community and to her country. It's a heinous thing to do that to her. We believe that those people who do such deeds, they can be punished on the day of judgment for their actions, and even punished in the next life with the hellfire. But if there is no God, where is the justice, the ultimate justice? Also, there is no hope. If all there is this life, imagine this. As I was explaining beforehand, some of us, we come from overseas. In our countries, seeing a dead body on the road in some countries is normal. Nobody thinks about it. Today I was with an imam who is the imam in a mosque in a very rough and tough part of London. And he said, it's just normal. Stabbings are normal. Every week there's a stabbing. You become desensitized. Same in a war zone. If you live in a war zone, become desensitized. So with that, if this is all we have, a war zone, there is no hope. What hope is there for us? But if we believe, as bad as life is or difficult it may be, in the next life, because God is merciful and He is just, we have some hope in our lives. Also, we made mention of value. If I'm made of matter and the chair over there is made of matter, how can we assign value to one of us, or one of us is more valuable than the other? This is almost impossible, because both of us are made of matter. If you say, okay, well, you have feelings and you have emotions, so do rabbits, and so do chicken. It doesn't stop us from consuming over 1,000 tons of chicken a day. Am I right? If that's the case, because of feelings and emotions, we should not eat any animal whatsoever. Do we believe in this? Nobody believes in this country, yes? If they believed in it, there would be no bacon sandwiches every morning. But rather, we say, if this is the case, then none of us have value. Also, ultimate happiness. We affirm that if I, for example, have a brand new mobile phone, I am happy. Does that keep me happy? No. Because when the next model comes out, I want that model. Am I right? You can't say, well, you keep on having a mobile phone throughout your life and makes you happy, because phone companies may go bust. Who remembers Nokia back in the 90s? Nokia? Remember Nokia? Nokia was an Apple back in the 90s. Am I right? Where's Nokia today?
It's gone.
It's gone. Could you imagine in the 90s that Nokia would go? Everyone had a Nokia phone. Am I right? Everyone had, every single smartphone was a Nokia phone. Look at that. They disappeared. They refused to follow the trend of adopting Android, and they disappeared. So what are you going to do? Okay, they're going to stop making phones. I'm going to look for something else material to make me happy. Will that make me happy? No, because that will perish. So there's no ultimate happiness. We then went on to talk about things which are self-evident truths. The issue is not, does God exist? We say yes, God exists. It's not for me to prove that God exists. But we're going to talk about existence after that. We're going to talk about existence today. But it's for you to prove that God doesn't exist. The default is God exists. And this is what we need to be clear about. It's not for me to prove that God exists to you. If you're saying, well, you've got to prove God exists, why is it when it comes to Allah or God, we have such a high standard, but everything in life we have a low standard? What do I mean? When it comes to atoms, we're atoms. Nobody on this planet can show you an atom, but we believe in them. We just accept it, low standard. But when it comes to God, you've got to prove it, you've got to give evidence. That's a high standard. Why the double standards? Same with electricity. Those of us, the brothers here, are electricians. We go to college, we go to university, we learn that electrician is magnetic waves and atoms moving. Am I right? Who said so? I said, and I threw down the gauntlet for the challenge, it could be little green men and women. When you turn on the switch, they hold hands, and that's the electric current. Now, is that rational? Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Is there a single electrician who believes that in this building? No. But you can't say to me it's irrational. It's not irrational. It's rational. But according to our knowledge and understanding, we don't accept it. Why don't we accept it? That's an argument. But that shows you electric waves. Can we see them? No. Radio waves that carry radio signals so you can listen to the radio. Can we see them? No. Do they exist? Yes. How they exist, in the sense of what they look like, we can't describe it. So why the low standard when it comes to radio waves, electricity, but when it comes to God or Allah, such a high standard? Also, somebody may argue, science has proven that God doesn't exist. Where? What experiment proved that God doesn't exist? Because many times we just accept what people say, am I right? It's a scientific fact. There's no such thing as scientific facts in that respect. Because what science today may not be science tomorrow. Newtonian physics was accepted and it works. We learned that, and I'll talk about it in detail. Science can be wrong and it makes sense and it works. So when someone says it's a scientific fact that God doesn't exist, how is it a fact? How is it scientific? When science doesn't look at God. I want to capture spirits or jinn. What does that experiment look like? What does that look like? Is it like magnetic beams or magnetic light? No, we can't devise an experiment for something we have no knowledge of, something we have no information of, something which is beyond our experience. You can't devise an experiment. So if you say, right, we're going to make an experiment that God doesn't exist, what does a God experiment look like? Is it the size of Belgium? Is it the size of Saudi Arabia? Is it the size of Russia? This whole experimental ground. What does the equipment look like? A scientist will tell you, a true scientist will tell you, look, This science is not about proving God exists or doesn't exist. Not part of our remit. And that's true science. But you have people having an ideology who go around and say, nah, science proves God doesn't exist. That's ideology. That's not reality. Because if it's reality, what does a God experiment look like? Anyhow. So it's a self-evident truth, we said, that God exists is something most of humanity believe in. The issue is, do people believe in, not do people believe in God? All of Asia, most of Asia, most of Africa, people believe in God. Even here in this country, people believe in God. So when parents are interviewed about their children who are murdered or passed away, do they say, well, yeah, my son was murdered last week and that was it? They say that? No. They say, Tommy was murdered, but he's upstairs with God, upstairs in heaven with his grand. Who's heard that before? All of us have heard that before. Yeah? We all have that hope. That is a human hope. Yes? And this is one of the criticisms of atheism. That it fails to understand the role that religion plays in society and in human life. It's not just about the do's and the don'ts. It's other important things like hope. When you're sitting at home, if you've ever been in that situation, and you got paid on a Thursday, and by Saturday after paying all your bills, you've got no money. Yes? If you've been in that situation, you understand the importance of hope. You've got another 3 weeks, 4 weeks ahead of you. What are you going to do? Some people may respond, well, there's no hope, and jump out the window. But if you have hope, you say, look, I can do it, man. I can make it. Allah's on my side, I'm going to do it. I'll hustle, and Allah blesses you with some money. So religion plays a very important role. So we said that it's a self-evident truth. It's not for me to prove that God doesn't exist, because it's self-evident He exists. How is it self-evident He exists? Look around you. I'm going to talk about existence today. Look around you, that God exists. The very fact, if you think and you look, that if the moon shifted 1 millimeter, would change our whole reality. If the sun stopped being the sun, it would change our whole reality. The fact that we have winter, we have summer, it's changing our whole reality. If you are thinking and you are just, you will see that around us are many things that point to us being a creation, and there is a creator. And a good example of this is atheists and scientists believe in the theory of evolution. That we came from one cell that over time multiplied and became complicated animals. They have not been able to answer the question, how did life first start? How did it first start? They've not been able, and they've tried experiment after experiment. And you'll listen to some scientists or some people of ideology, and they say, yeah, well, the first living thing was a single cell and it was in mud, etc. Where's the proof for all that? You believe in proof. Where's the proof? There's absolutely no proof. When you go to school in biology, they teach you evolution as if it's truth. Am I right? Where's the proof for it? There is no proof. And so, existence. One of the things we'd like to look at today is existence, if possible, morality. So, imagine now, we all left this building. We all left. And before we left, we emptied the prayer hall. There's nothing here. No carpet, no chairs, no table, no flasks, no lights, nothing. No fans, nothing. It's bare, as if we are going to leave. Yes? As if the masjid, inshallah, the masjid will move to a bigger building. But the masjid is going to move. That's how it is, okay? So you left in the evening, you came back the next day, and when you came here, plush carpet. The type of carpet, £50 a square foot. Plush. Brand new chairs, £100 chairs, stacks of them. The wallpaper, the walls painted terracotta, lovely brown colour. The fans, not fans, but every place there's a fan, there's an air conditioner. Imagine, golden chandeliers. If I then, when you came in here, you saw me sitting here and I said, you know what? You said, Subhanallah, Talib, how did this all happen? I said, it happened out of nothing. What would you say? Time for me to visit the psychiatric hospital, am I right? But this is what some people say. And we'll talk about that later. That everything came into existence out of nothing. We looked at the verse last week in the Quran. And we said there are 4 possibilities. Either one, that everything is created from nothing. So it has no creator. And we've learned just now that, is this possible? No, that's not possible. It also goes against our understanding and experience. Or everything is self-created. Is that possible? How can something create itself? It's like saying a mother giving birth to herself. Isn't it? Yes? Is that possible? It's like the story of, in fact it's not even like the story of the chicken, which came first, the chicken or the egg. It's not even like that story. It's something creating itself. Also, the universe, existence, was it created from something that was created? Well, if we say something created this, then who created that thing? Isn't it? If this universe was created by something that was created itself, then who created that thing? Then who created that thing? Who created that thing? Makes a loop. Yeah? Forever. Wa alaikum salam. That leads us to one last conclusion. That this creation was created from something uncreated. That uncreated, Allah is uncreated. Allah is the creator. He made us. He made us and brought us into existence. Because we only have one of 4 choices. In terms of this universe and everything in it, we have one of 4 choices. Either it was created from nothing, like this masala, you come in, everything is decked out. Or if I invite you to my house, and you come to my house, you knock on the door and I say, come. I bring you to the back of my house, to the garage. I don't have a garage at the back of my house, but I'm just saying, yeah. I bring you to the back of my house, the garage, and in the garage is a gold-colored Ferrari. 2018 number plate. When you open, you don't even open the door. Just press and hydraulic it goes up. When you enter inside, it's blinged out, all diamonds on the dashboard. Thick pile carpet, leather chairs. Have you sat on leather chairs before? Proper, comfy leather chairs. You say to me, Talib, where'd you get this car from? Where'd you get the money from? Because you thought, uh-oh, maybe my man did a bank job or something, yeah? And I say to you, looking you straight in the eyes, this came out of nowhere. Yeah? This car, it came out of nowhere. We're sitting down, and it just appeared there. What would you say? Time to go to psychiatric hospital, am I right? Or if I said to you, this car, it created itself, what would you say? Again, psychiatric hospital. We could say for a car that it was created by a creation, yeah. Cars are made by who? Humans, isn't it? Yes. But then we have to ask the question, if we're looking about existence, who made the humans? How did humans come into existence? Then we have to go back to the beginning and start asking the questions again. Okay, was the human created from nothing? Was it self-created? Yeah. Or we can say that yes, the car was created by humans, and humans were created by an uncreated creator. That is, we humans were created by who? Allah. That Allah created us. And this is the question that even now scientists have given up on. They've stopped asking that question. Before they tried experiments in the 50s and the 60s, they said that humans came into existence through a small cell, and what happened was, the cell was in a pool of mud. You know mud? Water and clay and earth. And then lightning struck the mud. this set off the process of creation. There's a film called Prometheus, or something like Prometheus, yeah. And at the beginning of it, it simulates this. It simulates this whole creation. Something being born out of water. The scientists in America, they tried that experiment in a test tube, in a laboratory. They tried to simulate this lightning, and you know what happened? You know what happened? Nothing happened. That's what happened. Nothing happened. And they tried, and you know what happened? After many attempts, they gave up. Yes? They gave up. And so, when we talk about, my respected brothers and sisters, existence, we have to exactly understand what you're talking about. When someone comes to you and says, God doesn't exist, what do you mean God doesn't exist? What do you mean by existence? What do you mean by existence? And we ask them these four things. And for them, especially if they believe science is their religion, where's the proof? Okay, we came from a single cell. Where's that single cell? Show me. I saw on YouTube a scientist, and he showed how they believe that whales came from a mammal that used to walk on the earth. And he brought a shoulder, a piece of bone, a shoulder blade. Yes? Nothing but a shoulder blade as a proof of this animal that transformed itself into a whale. Do you know something which is interesting, brothers and sisters? What's really interesting about these scientists? They found bones in Ethiopia called Lucy, and they said, after 400 years of saying nothing is in Africa, they believe now that human beings came from Africa. They found bones in Morocco. What do they say? Human existence started in Morocco. They found bones in Siberia. They say, perhaps humans started in Siberia. Do you see the problem they have? You see the problem? They're trying to run far away from there being an uncreated creator. They look to creation and they're always making mistakes. Every year they're finding bones here or there and they're saying, and even Lucy the bones, you can arrange the bones so it looks like some kind of humanoid, something human, and you can also arrange the bones that look something else. Because this whole point of whales being originally land-based mammals is speculation. They have no proof. Like human beings, they say, and correct me if I'm wrong, that between apes or monkeys or primates and humans, there is some animal. And this animal, one branch made humans, the other branch made apes or monkeys. Here comes the question. This being that became apes or humans, where is it? You're supposed to be scientists, am I right? Scientists, and we explain science, isn't looking at facts. There's more than one way to attain knowledge. We use example, how do you know your father's your father? Through testimony, isn't it? Yes? Through testimony. Is that knowledge? Of course it's knowledge, otherwise your father isn't your father. Your mother isn't your mother. If some random woman came up to you on the street, held your hand and said to you, do you know what? I'm your long lost mother. What would you say? You can say, go away, isn't it? You would have sure knowledge that she isn't your mother. This is knowledge. So science isn't, brothers and sisters, looking at facts. No. It's looking at facts and then make theories on these facts. And so, some of the scientists today, they have this argument. They say that the universe is made from nothing. Because they realize they're in a jam. If the universe, the world around us is made from something, who made that something? Now, they can't answer that question. Can they? Who made human beings? Alright, Darwin's theory, we came from apes. I'll believe all of that, but show me the first form of life. Where is it? They can't answer that question. So now they say, okay, We are made from nothing. That's what they say, nothing. Does nothing ever produce something? That's the first question. Is it possible? I want to buy a brand new car. I want to buy a Rolls-Royce Wraith. Yes, you know the Wraith? I want a 2018 number plate. High expectations, am I right? I walk into Rolls-Royce, the company. I'll go to the man and say, listen, I want a Rolls-Royce Wraith, 2018 number plate, the color aqua blue, and I give him the full spec because I've been doing my homework. I know exactly what I want. There. Looks at it, says, okay, I can do that. And I say to him, okay. So he says, okay, how are you going to pay, sir? Card or cash? And I pull out my pockets and there's nothing there. And I say to him, okay, here we go. I'll give you the money, here you go. It's coming, it's coming. Would it ever come? No. You'll be standing there for 2 centuries, nothing will come, yes? I remember when I was young, you know, you watch television. And on television you have people, you know, you have films or movies where somebody can think and it comes into existence, yes? So I remember, especially those days when you had no pocket money, you would sit there and think, okay, Mars bar! Mars bar! You were thinking away, Mars bar! And lo and behold, will the Mars bar ever appear? No. So this is what they're trying to us, and they use an example of something called a quantum vacuum. Meaning there is a vacuum, it's an empty space but nothing there. But however, if you look at quantum vacuum, there are atoms, there are things popping up and down. So there is something there. It may not look like what we expect. So there's no microphone there, maybe there's no oxygen as we know it, but there are things there, it is something. So this is only a ploy, a means for them to try to come out of this question, alright, who created it? This universe that we have here, who created the universe? Where's the proof for it? Okay, you say it created itself. How did it create itself? How? They know they're stuck with that question. And also, many of the so-called, I don't call them scientists, but those people who have this ideology, they realize one important thing. They realize that atheism is actually, while it's growing, it's dying. It's growing because people don't want halal haram. So it's easy to say, I'm an atheist. But the logic behind it is dying. Because slowly we're uncovering many things that lead us to question. For example, they used to say that the universe was eternal, always there. But a man by the name of Hubble, in the 20s or 30s, looking through his telescope, he realized that the rays pointed to the universe having a beginning. And that's why they have the idea of the Big Bang. The Big Bang, there are many, I think, is it 18 different explanations for the Big Bang. However, these explanations get us to think that, hey, maybe the universe didn't exist and it was brought into existence. If that is the case, who brought the universe into existence? And look at how perfect the universe is. Do we have planets crashing into each other? Look at us. We are intelligent, supposedly, am I right? On the streets, we crash into each other. Think about it. When you're driving your car, you may be driving your car, some idiot just pulls out. Happened to me. When I was young, we're driving, we stopped, we said to the guy, go. He said to us, go. We said to him, go. He said to us, go. We went, bam, he drove out, crashed into us. Right off the car. Imagine that. We can't get it right. Even they had one of these driverless cars. Driverless car. The driverless car crashed. Why did it crash? Because a human being started to steer it. When humans didn't touch it, it got to its destination fine. Human beings said, okay, I'm going to drive it, it crashed. But look at the planets, brothers and sisters. Look at the planets. Do they ever crash into each other? How is that possible? A coincidence? Just a coincidence? The same coincidence that will help me get £200,000 out of my pocket of nothing to buy the Rolls Royce. So it must have had a creator. It could not have created itself, this universe. And so, in terms of existence, in terms of existence, the only conclusion we must have, if we're asking this question about existence, is that this universe and everything in it was created from an uncreated creator. That is, a creator who wasn't created. That was a creator that made everything. This creator is eternal and everlasting. Wasn't born, wasn't begotten. And this creator made everything come into existence. Because if we don't have that explanation, how do we, help me somebody here, how do we then explain existence, this universe? How do we explain it? Because every single scientific explanation, doesn't even have proof or has been disproven. We can't even prove how we came to existence. Ask, go. If you're in school, ask your science teacher. How did the humans come into existence? They give you the theory. Well, you see, there was a single cell, and that cell became other animals and the tree of life, etc., etc. Okay, what brought that cell into existence? Where's the proof for it? Have you asked your teachers that before? Ask them. Those of us at work, when people say about existence, ask them. How was this universe created? How? They'll say, well, this happened, that happened, blah, blah, blah. Excellent. What's the proof for it? Isn't it? This exists, this universe came out of nothing. How does nothing produce something? How? I go to Rolls Royce and buy a car with nothing. God called the police on me. So how can nothing produce something? That's illogical. And if you say, okay, well, it created itself, well, how did it create? If it created itself, how is that possible for a woman to give birth to itself? How is that possible? Then if they then say, well, you know, something else created it, then who created that thing that created it? It's existence. We're talking about existence, isn't it? We're talking about existence, we have to ask these questions. And so then the atheist has to come to only one conclusion. That this universe and everything in it was created by an uncreated creator. And this creator is everlasting and eternal, all-powerful. One of the things people do, especially in our society, they measure up God with human beings. This is because the belief, the Christian belief of the Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. And they believe that God became man. So Jesus is the Son of God, which he doesn't say ever in the Bible, by the way. Jesus never said, I am God, or the Son of God. Never ever says that in the Bible. Yes? Others may say, they even said to Jesus, oh, Son of God, he said, I am Son of Man. Look at that. Because they believe that God became a man, this is how they measure everything up. And all the limitations of humans, they also put them on God. And this is a problem. But God is everlasting. God is eternal. Allah is eternal. Unlike us who are created, this is not the case for God. He is the creator. And he brought everything into existence. And only by looking at Allah existing does everything else make sense. It doesn't make sense if it was a coincidence that the sun is where it is today and it never moves off its orbit. It doesn't make sense. Because if it can somehow get into orbit, it can somehow come out of orbit, isn't it? It doesn't make sense that some of the world at one time is habitable, at another time may not be habitable. At one time we can grow plants, other time we can't grow plants. Why does this all happen? If it's coincidence, why does this coincidence seem to have a purpose and a pattern? Why does it seem to have somebody who deliberately made it like that? Why doesn't Venus one day decide, I've had enough of this Milky Way, I'm off to the Andromeda Galaxy? That should be possible. It doesn't happen. All of these things about the issue of existence. So when people ask you this thing about existence, brothers and sisters, this is one of the things you need to always keep in mind. Another thing we like to look at is the argument for morality, which I've spoken about. Now, when we talk about morals, we talk about behavior, how one should be, especially to other people, morals. Now, Morals is a very big problem for the atheist. Very big problem. Because where do morals come from? That's coming in a minute. But do we human beings have morals, or we don't have morals? We have morals, isn't it? Yes? So for example, if we don't have morals, or good behavior, if I want sugar, I can leave my house, go to the next door neighbor, kick open the door, just walk through the door, go into their kitchen, take one of their cups, put some sugar in the cup, and go back to my house. Do we do things like that? Do you do things like that? Unless you have a mental problem, you don't do things like that. Am I right? Or, for example, do I ordinarily and normally, when my neighbors are sleeping, enter into their house, look around their drawers and their cupboards, and take any money they have and go back home? Do I do stuff like that? Is that moral or immoral? That's immoral. But here comes the question, why is it immoral? Why is it bad? Why can't I stick my hand in your pocket and take your money and go spend it on chicken and chips? Why can't I do that? Why? Why is it bad? Who says it's theft? Have you ever heard the word liberation? Some people say, I'm liberating it. Look, when Western countries went into oil-rich countries, what do they call it? Huh? When they went into Iraq and pumped out millions of oil at substandard prices, what do they call it? They call it liberation. It's liberties, yeah, but is it liberation? No one's liberated. Yes? And this is not my opinion. This is the opinion of analysts. So yeah, I could say, I'm liberating your pockets from that money. You see that change? That change was way too heavy for your pockets, and I felt sorry for your pockets. So what I'm going to do is to liberate your pockets by taking that money out. I could do that, isn't it? Yes or no? Huh? You know, what's interesting is people's perspective, how they see things. You know Nelson Mandela? Nelson Mandela, no? Nelson Mandela, do you know Nelson Mandela was considered, up until his release from prison, as a terrorist? Do you know that? Nelson Mandela was in prison. What was he in prison for? Acts of terrorism. He advocated armed struggle. Now, do we believe Nelson Mandela was a terrorist? Of course not. Apartheid was one of the most barbaric systems that Europeans ever brought to Africa. Apartheid is a European system, it's not an African system. It's a barbaric system. And that's what he was fighting against, for equal rights for his people, the indigenous people of Africa. But my point, if we say morals, why is apartheid bad? Is it bad or not bad? Bad or not bad? Talk to me. It's bad. It's immoral, isn't it? Yes? So, we have some choices. We either say that morals are objective, that is, they're outside of humans, or they're not outside of humans. Now, what's the difference? When we say morals are objective outside of humans, we have to then say, where do these objective morals come from? So for example, murder. If I go to a chip shop and the guy throws the chips at me, and I then get a baseball bat and hit him in the head, that's an act of murder, am I right, if he dies? Yes or no? It's an act of murder. Why is it an act of murder? Why? But who said? Maybe I may think, hey, guy was rude to me, that's what he deserves, what he gets, am I right? Psychopaths see it that way. A psychopath sees they are justified in killing somebody. They're justified in killing somebody. Somebody said something bad or horrible to them. They don't look at people as human beings. They see themselves justified in killing somebody. That's psychopathic, isn't it? Yes? But we say, no, that's murder. Why? Because our morals either come from human beings or they're objective. If we say our morals are objective, it must come from another source outside of human beings. And what source is that outside of human beings? Of course, Allah, God. So almost all societies believe that murder is prohibited. Now, there may be sometimes categories of murder which they accept. So the ancient Peruvians, the people of Peru, they would sacrifice a young child or teenager once a year. But besides that, they didn't see it okay to kill people. Am I right? They didn't normally ordinarily kill people. Even those people who they claim to be cannibals. What's a cannibal? People who eat humans. Do people eat humans because of hunger? Do they? No. Those societies in which they have cannibals, usually cannibalism is done to scare people away. For example, if Bedford was full of cannibals, would you enter into Bedford? No. You wouldn't enter into Bedford because if they catch you, what would they do? Not only will they kill you, they make you into burgers and sausages. Am I right? They make you into what? Burgers and sausages. And one of the things that we as human beings are scared of, not only are we scared of dying, but people eating us. It's something I remember when I was young. The wicked, evil criminals would say to us, in Africa there were cannibals. And I think you've heard me say this many times. If there were cannibals in Africa, Europeans would never have been able to extract so many raw materials from Africa. The Belgium extracted thousands of tons of gold. And they killed over 20 million people because they wouldn't produce more gold for them. Do you know that, by the way? The Belgians, yeah? They committed acts of genocide in the Congo. Acts of genocide, killing people. They wouldn't extract gold. They cut their hands off. Cut one hand off. Cut the other hand off. Kill the person. So if there was cannibals in Africa, imagine that. There'd be no Europeans. No, Europeans would be scared to go to Africa, isn't it? Because they'd be scared to be captured and eaten. But they use this idea of cannibals for two reasons. Reason number one, to say Africans are not even human. So we can take them into slavery and we can take their land from them and their minerals. And two, to scare other Europeans. The British would use it to scare the French. Oh, don't go to the Congo. Why? Because they'll capture you and eat you. So the French will all be scared to go to the Congo. Do you see that? So we have to admit then, either two things. Either morals are objective outside of human beings. If they are, then where do they come from? They must come from God. Or, there is no such thing as objective morals. But here comes the problem. If there are no morals outside of us, then what's good for me may be bad for you, am I right? If you see all those films that portray the apocalypse, that is, there was a bomb, a nuclear bomb has been dropped, and then it's all every man and woman for themselves, yes? There's no law. Everyone can do what they want, am I right? If you want to eat people, you can eat people. If you want to kill people, you can kill people. If you want to put people into slavery, you can do that, am I right? That is the state we will be. So I can't judge you. You know, only God can judge me. How can I judge you if there's no objective morals? If my morals are mine and your morals are yours, how can I judge you? If I walk into the masjid and pick my nose and eat it, can you say it's bad? If there's no morals, can you say it's bad? Of course you can't say it's bad. If I want to walk around naked, can you say to me it's bad? It's immoral to walk around naked? You can't say it's bad. Because you doing you, I'm doing me. Am I right? If I want to, for example, live in the forests, and all I wear, I get dogs, I kill them, take the skin and wear the dog's skin as a clothing. Can I judge you? No. Can you judge me? No. And we have that situation today. Some countries that eat dogs, am I right? Am I right, yes? Who's tasted dog here before? Nobody's tasted dog, surprise, surprise. Yes? But if there are no morals, how can you tell another human being it's immoral to eat dog? We use moral arguments, am I right? What's the argument to say you shouldn't eat dogs? Help me somebody. How can I tell somebody you shouldn't eat dogs? What's the argument for not eating dogs? So you guys can be convinced to eat dog. The argument that you shouldn't eat animals is that animals have feelings. They feel like us, they feel pain like us, and so we should eat animals. Is this an economic argument? No, it's a moral argument, isn't it? Of something which is good, something which is bad. What about eating dogs? If the people eating dogs don't share your religion, if I go to somebody who, I'm about to say a country there, alhamdulillah. If I go to a particular country and I see them, I go to someone's house and they say, Talib, you're my guest. I'm going to respect you to the max. I'm going to bring you our national delicacy. So I'm sitting there, waiting. Yeah. They bring a big plate and on it is a dog. Yes? If I say to them, you shouldn't eat dog, it's haram. What will they say to me?
Crazy.
Huh? They say to me, what's haram? They say haram to you, halal to me, isn't it? Yes? Like pig. We believe pig is haram. They say what pig is? Halal. If you can eat pig, not far stretch of the imagination to eat dog. Isn't it, yes? How can you say to somebody not to eat dog? The only arguments you can bring, you can't bring a financial argument, because I can argue, listen, by killing dogs, we have an industry. Isn't it? We have people who capture dogs. I saw this program where in Vietnam, people are kidnapping people's dogs. You know, you go to bed with your dog outside, you wake up, your dog's disappeared. And they're exporting all these dogs to another country. They want to name the country. They export it to another country because in that country is a delicatessen. They even have a dog festival. Can you imagine that? You can't say a financial argument is that, hey, by eating dogs it affects the economy. No. Because by eating dogs you make an industry, you make money. You can't say by eating dogs it affects the ozone layer or it affects the weather. No. Less dogs, less carbon monoxide, less carbon dioxide. It's helping the environment, isn't it? Am I right? You can't say, well, hey, it's haram. The dog eater will say to you, haram to you, halal to me. It's a moral argument. Am I right? Now, the only thing we can then return to is either we have objective morals, and those morals must come from God, can't come from us human beings, or in a state of anarchy. And if that's the case, we can't criticize the un-Islamic state, we can't criticize terrorists, because what's morally good for them is morally good for them, even though it may be morally bad for us. Do we believe that? ISIS, what they're doing is morally good for them, though it's morally bad for us. We don't believe that. We believe it's morally bad for us and should be morally bad for them because it's killing an innocent person. It's murder. Am I right? It's murder. It's bad for us, should be bad for them as well. Based upon what? Based upon morals that we get from where? We get them from Allah, from God. In our society, English society, British society, Western society, based upon what? The Bible tells us that thou shalt not kill. Isn't it? Thou shalt not what? Kill. Where did that come from? Did it come from society? No. Because societies, things change. So, back in the 1950s, 1940s, to have a baby out of marriage was a bad thing. What about now? It's normal. So society's morals may change. What about peer pressure? Your friends say it's bad, so it's bad. Well, that that also changes. Am I right? When I was growing up, stealing was stealing. Today, it's very hard to convince people about stealing. If I park my car outside and I said, look, in my car, I've got 50 pairs of trainers of kicks. All authentic Jordans. Authentic. In the box. Each pair of trainers is worth £200. I'm selling them for £50. Wink, wink. How many people will say to you, astaghfirullah, it's haram? How many people? Very few people. Most people's response would be, listen man, give me a size 9 and a size 10, yeah? That's the response, isn't it, yeah? So peer pressure is not enough in itself, because as peers, as friends or people in society, things may change. So what we are left with, brothers and sisters, is that God exists, alhamdulillah, and one of the proofs of His existence is that we have objective morals. Morals that are outside of human beings. And if we don't have those morals, society will be in a state. Society will be in a state. Society will be in an uproar. Now, and if that's not the case, that morals are objective outside of us, then what's bad for me may be good for somebody else, and what's good for somebody else may be bad to somebody else. Then everybody will be in his or her own orbit, doing their own thing. How can we have a society like that? How can we have a society like that? Where somebody will say, well, hey, stealing is okay. Then somebody else will say, nah, stealing isn't okay. Then somebody else will say, yeah, fraud is okay. Then somebody else will say, fraud is not okay. How can you have a society like that? So those who think fraud is okay will defraud others, steal people's property, am I right? Or there'll be no rule of law, so brother here will go home, sit down, kick his feet up to watch TV, me and my squad will walk in, say, alright, out you go, it's our house now. But, no buts, get out. We throw him out, change the locks, it's our house. Look at that. Because we believe morally that stealing is okay. What type of society would we have? We have a mad society, isn't it? Yeah? We have a type of society probably where those who are strong are the ones who have their rights. Those who are weak will have no rights. We have no rule of law. Also, we must keep in mind that where something may be objective, like murder, we say it is immoral to kill people. It has a context to it. So for example, we say, as Muslims, that it's haram. You can't just kill somebody like that. Even if there is a death sentence, there is a legal process the person has to go through. I remember once I saw this video of this rabbi of the EDL rabbi. And he was saying to the brother, yeah, you guys believe that you can go basically and kill anybody on the street. And I said to myself, this guy's ignorant. No Muslim believes you can just kill anybody on the street. The only people who believe that are the psychopaths of the un-Islamic state. Even if somebody commits a crime, like somebody murders somebody else, in those countries that have the death penalty, there's a legal process, just like in America. In America, there's a death penalty, yes or no? Do they just say, okay, you murdered somebody, the sheriff puts a bullet in your head? No. There's a legal process. Same with China. China has a death penalty, yes or no? Has a death penalty. Do they say, okay, you shot somebody, the police who attends the murder puts a bullet in your head? No. There's a legal process. Why is it everybody has a legal process except for Muslims? Why is it that? Everybody has the benefit of the doubt of a legal process, but us Muslims, no, we don't. This is being biased and prejudicial. The same way people have in America, in China, other countries that have the death penalty, same with us. That when it comes to death penalty, it's not for the public to execute a death penalty. It is a legal process. So when we talk about objective morals, there's a context to it. We may hold that yes, You can't take people's lives. You can't walk in the street, a guy comes and steps. I remember when I was young, back in Jahiliyyah. You step on somebody's shoes, you can get stabbed for that. I don't know, is it still the case now? You know, a guy was doing some building work in my house, and as he was drilling, the dust of the drill went onto some trainers. Yeah? And we both realized, oh, the trainers, remove the trainers. I said to him, you're lucky, fam. Had it been somebody else's house, that dust on trainers, you just signed a death warrant. You get me? That's the reality in the culture. If I'm walking down the street and I step on certain people's trainers, a guy will stab you. Ban you, fam, for am I right or wrong? Stepping on these trainers. Yes? But my point, we don't believe in that. No. We believe there may be certain cases where there is a death penalty. So for example, in the United States of America, if you kill somebody in certain states, there's a death penalty. In some Muslim countries, if you kill somebody, there's a death penalty. And this death penalty is because you contravene the law. That is, to take the life of somebody else. And this acts as a deterrent. In Muslim countries, mashallah, tabarakallah, especially those countries where there is Sharia, one thing you have which you don't have in many countries is safety. In general, in the Muslim world, there's safety. Much more than other countries. But especially those countries with Sharia, you can walk at night. I've been to countries like Saudi Arabia with thousands of pounds in my pocket. I never for once feared that somebody's going to rob me. You go and do that. Put out £20,000 on the high street here. Would you be safe? To put into your cash, to the cash machine, you'd be shivering all the banknotes in your hand. You probably shiver so much they'll all fall onto the floor. So, when we talk about objective, we don't mean you have to be careful. We talk about also absolute morals. That we say yes, the objective. You shouldn't kill somebody, for example, and if you kill somebody, there is a penalty that you lose your life. So, with that being said, my respected brothers and sisters, we've been speaking for over an hour now, and I know you guys are tired. I'd like to open the floor for any questions or clarifications. Jazakumullah khair. I don't want to endure longer than you need to. And so we'll continue inshallah next week again with another session looking at another argument, maybe 2 more lessons or 3 more lessons, and we'll come to a conclusion about atheism. Can I say also, I did request that people bring pen and paper. Don't look around you, look at you. We always do that, look at other people. Am I right? Look at other people, look at yourself. Very important. Because these lectures are about practical things. People are going to come and ask you. Don't people come and ask you, God doesn't exist? What are you going to say? You start going to a big rational argument. You don't need to. Say it doesn't exist. God does exist. It's for you to prove that it doesn't exist. Not for me to prove He exists. Why the high standard when it comes to God, low standard when it comes to electricity or atoms? We have an argument now. So next week, inshallah, we're going to look at something really of good and evil. This is where many Muslims trip up. This is where most people, when they come to you, God doesn't exist. Well, if God existed, why did my cat die last night? Yeah? Some of the reasons they bring forward for God not existing. And so we're going to talk about that. Wa billahi tawfiq wa jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.